Gather round gamers, we are counting down 10 of the best games releasing on Steam in April 2025. Let me know which is your favorite. I'm gonna start off with South of Midnight, which is your classic story-driven, really pretty looking Xbox Game Studio style game that we seem to get every year or two. This game is set in the American South, in which players get to engage in this gothic fantasy style story with creatures and environments that just look a little bit creepy. You'll be playing as Hazel in this adventure style game who, after disaster strikes her homeland, gains ability to become a weaver, which is this kind of magical mender, get to talk to spirits, that kind of thing. There's a little bit of family trauma and history that you're going to be playing through in one of those games that's all about unraveling the mysteries of the past whilst attacking really gruesome looking enemies. Set for an 8th of April release date here. Let's move on to a classic RTS style looking game called Commandos Origins, developed by Yippee Entertainment, which serves as a prequel to some classic RTS Commando series games of the past. This one is set in World War II, in which you will be leading a group of elite soldiers on missions, attacking behind enemy lines. That classic, everyday RTS war movie kind of things. Every commando that you'll be controlling has their own skills, which means that you need a bit of strategic planning and coordination. I need to play through a number of different environments, things like jungles, urban warfares, and anything else that might have happened during World War II. Commandos Origin is releasing on the 9th of April and definitely has some of the more impressive looking RTS graphics that you might see. Let's go another sequel, and this time we're talking about Crashlands 2, an action-adventure RPG game developed by Butterscotch Shenanigans. I really like the name of that developer. In this game, you'll play as a galactic trucker that is stranded on an alien planet, and you get to explore some procedurally generated worlds. There are hostile creatures, there is crafting, there is gear to collect, everything you would expect from an open-world survival game. There's actually the ability to play a multiplayer here with some cooperative play and a bit of a humorous storyline that unfolds in front of you, but one that you don't have to delve into too deep if you just want to fixate on that crafting and resource collection. Crashlands is releasing on the 10th of April. Let's move on to Asgard's Fall, a Norse mythology-based survivors-like roguelite. Now, if you've watched any of my videos, you know that I've got a bit of fatigue around survivor-like games, although I have to say, when it's done well, these games can be some of the most addictive that you will play, and this one looks pretty good. Asgard's Fall has everything you'd expect from a good survivors-like roguelike game, including different characters that you can play through, progression points and unlockables that you can use to make yourself stronger between each run, and just a whole lot of enemies that try to see if they can break records in terms of how much can fit on your screen. I'm optimistic about this one, releasing on the 8th of April. Mandragora Whispers of the Witch Tree is a game that tries to tip its toes into as many different genres as it can. This game first came into my attention when I was doing some research about Metroidvania games, and it's definitely one of the more interesting, good-looking Metroidvania games with a really zoomed-in kind of perspective, but also touches upon the action RPG and Souls-like genre as you play through a really dark fantasy world with a whole lot of monsters that you're going to be attacking. The developers of this one, Primal Game Studio, have said that there's a 40-hour-long story, which, whilst not my cup of tea, gamers love the extra content. And there are 6 different classes that you will get to play through. Mandragora Whispers of the Witch Tree, one of the more impressive titles, releasing on the 17th of April. Oh, we are moving on to Lost Skies, which is an open-world exploration game developed. Hey, that links to the title. In this game, you'll play as a pilot and you get to customize things like airships and then get to navigate a huge, amazing floating archipelago. I've played games like this in the past and they don't look like they've been implemented as good as Lost Skies does, but until you play it, they can be a bit hit and miss. You'll be doing things like trading, doing some combat and missions that you'll get to fly through as you influence the world around you. There are some multiplayer modes available as well as challenges and pretty stunning looking graphics. I'll be looking for the reviews on this one as it releases on the 17th of April.
For people to live
I like the look of Night is Coming. It's a cute little survival style strategy game set in a post apocalyptic world where the eternal night has fallen. So you're going to be leading a group of survivors and doing things that you would normally do in a survival style RTS game, such as collecting resources, building different shelters, and then defending against really horrible looking threats. This is one of those games that has a mixture of genres once again, including city building elements alongside survival mechanics, and definitely a game for the strategic fans. I'm a big fan of city builder games and haven't played one for a month or two, so on the 14th of April, perhaps Night is Coming will be the next one that's done well. Let me know what you think. This could well be one of the more impressive looking games that I've actually come across, and it's called Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Yeah, awfully long name though, hey. This one is a stunning, epic in scale looking RPG game that's based with some French influence around a world of wonders and has not only stunning graphics, some really interesting looking turn-based strategic kind of gameplay, but one of those games that aims to tell a story in a way that hasn't been done before in a really impressive way. Could well be one of the biggest releases of the month. It's releasing on the 23rd of April. RPG fans, JRPG fans should definitely have this as probably a day one release style game. I'm hoping that it's as good as it looks. I've only got room for 2 more games, so we're going back to the RTS genre, a genre that I think is making a bit of a comeback this year. There are so many good real-time strategy games this year. This one's called Tempest Rising, developed by Storm Games, and in this one you have the choice of 3 different factions to play as you try and gain control over the resources of the planet. Now, every faction has their own ability, units, different strategic elements, and playstyles. So you'll be not only building bases, managing resources, taking care of large-scale battles, but kind of like, I don't know, teleporting yourself back to the good old days of RTS in the 2000s in a game that absolutely looks stunning, and as long as my computer can handle it, I think will be pretty decent. Releasing on the 24th of April, what do you reckon about Tempest Rising? I'm going to finish here with RailGods of Hysterra, and I don't usually include Lovecraftian style games just because I don't know much about the genre, the storyline, the characters, that kind of thing, but I know that they can be really good when done well. This is a co-op survival game in which you play through a post-apocalyptic world and you command an evolving, living, monstrous train, which I think is just a really cool idea for a game that allows you to have some gameplay mechanics that just kind of are really different. As with most Lovecraftian games, it's really dark, it's twisted, there's lots of monsters involved here, and the ability to play with up to 4 friends, which could be something to keep an eye on. Releases on the 23rd of April. Hey, 10 games there. Let me know in the comments which one is your favorite. See you next time.